Did you know there's a European country where mountains dominate everything? The official language is Catalan, and it has never officially declared war or joined the European Union. Andorra is so small, could fit entirely within a medium-sized city, yet it hides geographical and political curiosities that challenge everything we think we know about what defines a nation. Tucked between France and Spain, it survives with a medieval system of government still in place, cinematic alpine landscapes, and an economy curiously based on tourism and duty-free shopping. Why did such an isolated territory become one of the most visited destinations in Europe? Get ready to uncover the mysteries and charms of one of the continent's least known yet most fascinating countries. Andorra is, quite literally, a country in the heights. Nestled in the heart of the Pyrenees Mountains, between France and Spain, its territory just 468 square kilometers is completely dominated by mountains. There are no plains in Andorra. What you'll find are narrow valleys, snow-capped peaks, and steep slopes that challenge even the locals. Almost the entire country lies above 1,000 meters in altitude, with an average elevation of 1,996 meters, one of the highest in Europe. The highest point is Coma Pedrosa, reaching a staggering 2,942 meters above sea level, offering breathtaking panoramic views and attracting hikers and climbers from all over. In contrast, the lowest point lies at about 840 meters, in the southern part of the country, highlighting a dramatic elevation range in such a small space. These differences in altitude create microclimates and diverse ecosystems, even across short distances. Andorra's rugged terrain was shaped by ancient tectonic activity and glaciation. During the Ice Age, massive glaciers carved out deep valleys, leaving behind features like moraines, glacial lakes, and alpine cirques. Today, the country still conserves more than 60 glacial lakes, such as the Estanys de Tristana and Lac d'Angalasters, stunning crystal-clear waters surrounded by pine forests and granite cliffs. The main river system is the Valira, formed by two branches, Valira del Nod and Valira d'Orient, which converge in Andorra la Vella before flowing into Spain. These rivers are essential for valley drainage, supplying towns, and powering small hydroelectric plants. Because of the steep terrain, urban development is limited. Towns and villages are concentrated in the rare flat stretches of valley floors, where construction is feasible. The relief also heavily influences local architecture. Houses are built from stone and wood, with steep roofs to handle heavy snow, often blending into the mountain slopes as if they were part of the landscape. Andorra's mountainous geography acts as a shield, historically protecting it from invasions and ecologically limiting uncontrolled development. Its high elevation and difficult access have helped preserve dense pine forests, beech groves, and alpine meadows that still cover much of the territory. This majestic landscape attracts millions of tourists each year, but also demands careful planning. Winding mountain roads, tunnels, and infrastructure built to handle snow and ice are part of daily life. In short, Andorra is not just a country with mountains, it is the mountain. Its identity, economy, and even its history have been shaped by the highlands that surround it. Here, the terrain is not just a background element, it's the main character. Andorra is one of the world's most intriguing nations when it comes to geography. Tucked into the Pyrenees, it has no coastline, no airport, no railway, and no direct access to the sea. Surrounded by steep mountains and deep valleys, this tiny country spans just 468 square kilometers, nestled between two European giants, France to the north and Spain to the south. Despite its small footprint on the map, its geographic position carries immense historical and strategic significance. For centuries, Andorra acted as a buffer zone between empires. Positioned along the ancient trade route between Toulouse, France, and Barcelona, Catalonia, the region was both desired and avoided. Its harsh climate and rugged terrain made access difficult. Ironically, these geographic challenges helped Andorra escape the Great European Wars and preserve uniquely resilient political institutions. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of its territorial organization is the co-principality system. Since 1278, Andorra has had the heads of state simultaneously, the President of France and the Bishop of Urgell in Spain. This rare political structure arose from medieval feudal conflicts and treaties designed to guarantee Andorra's neutrality and autonomy. Surprisingly, this system still exists today, albeit in a more symbolic form. Though Andorra is fully sovereign and democratic, the co-princes still have formal duties such as signing laws and appointing ambassadors. It's as if Andorra were politically suspended between two worlds, a modern republic rooted in the Middle Ages. Practically speaking, Andorra is deeply integrated with its neighbors. Although it's not a member of the European Union, it uses the euro as its official currency and has special customs agreements with both France and Spain. There are only two roadways into the country, one from Catalonia via La Cité d'Urgell and one from southwestern France through Pata la Casa. This reliance on mountainous roadways has led Andorra to invest heavily in infrastructure. The Invalira Tunnel, for instance, cuts through a mountain to connect remote areas even during the harshest winters. But its frontier status is more than geographic, it's symbolic. Andorra is culturally Catalan, but not part of Spain. It lies between the Alps and the Atlantic sphere, but doesn't fully belong to any one political or cultural bloc. This is reflected in its population, its trilingual signage, and even its license plates, which blend French, Spanish, and Catalan elements. In a world where borders often mean tension, Andorra is an exception. Its position between two giants has historically been a diplomatic advantage. Rather than being crushed, it learned to balance and built its national identity precisely at this point of contact. In Andorra, climate is more than just an environmental condition, it shapes daily life, the economy, and even the national identity. With an average altitude of nearly 2,000 meters and its rugged mountain terrain, Andorra experiences a high mountain climate, closely resembling alpine weather. That means long, cold winters with heavy snowfall and short, mild summers. Snow can start falling as early as October and may linger into May, making the country a true winter kingdom for much of the year. During the coldest months, temperatures in higher elevations frequently drop below -10 degrees Celsius. Snow accumulates in large amounts, especially near peaks like Coma Pedrosa. These conditions are ideal for winter sports, which have become one of the country's primary sources of income. The internationally known ski resorts Gran Valira and Val Nord offer hundreds of kilometers of slopes and top-tier infrastructure. Thanks to reliable weather and high-quality snow, Andorra attracts over 8 million tourists annually, many from France, Spain, and even the UK. However, this extreme environment also presents serious challenges. Avalanches are a real threat, especially on steeper slopes. In response, the country has developed advanced monitoring systems and physical barriers to protect urban areas and key roadways. The Invalira Tunnel, for instance, allows safe passage through the mountains even during severe snowstorms. In summer, Andorra reveals a completely different side. Alpine meadows bloom in the valleys, forests turn lush green, and glacial lakes become popular destinations for hiking and outdoor activities. Average summer temperatures hover around 20 degrees Celsius, with pleasantly cool nights. Andorra's climate also supports rich biodiversity. Located at the crossroads of Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Alpine climates, it hosts a wide range of plant and animal species and ecological variety rarely found in such a small area. Marmots, golden eagles, mountain goats, and ancient pine trees are part of everyday life in the valleys. Rainfall patterns vary depending on altitude and sunlight exposure. Southern areas near Catalonia tend to be drier and warmer, while northern areas closer to France receive more annual precipitation. This climatic mosaic turns Andorra into a natural laboratory, where extreme and contrasting weather conditions can be observed within minutes of travel. For all these reasons, climate is one of the keys to understanding Andorra. It explains why the country invests so heavily in winter infrastructure, why its economy revolves around seasonal tourism, and why even its culture is closely tied to the rhythm of nature. In Andorra, weather isn't just meteorology, it's a national identity. How can a country with no coastline, no major mineral resources, and an extremely mountainous terrain have one of the highest per capita incomes in Europe? The answer lies in how Andorra turned its geographic limitations into economic advantages. The main driver of Andorra's economy is tourism, which accounts for about 80% of the country's GDP. The combination of snow-covered mountains in winter and scenic trails in summer attracts millions of visitors each year. Ski resorts like Gran Valira and Val Nord are full-scale tourism hubs featuring hotels, restaurants, shopping centers, and wellness spas. In summer, tourism shifts toward hiking, mountain biking, and ecotourism. Another key pillar of the economy is tax-free commerce. Since the 20th century, Andorra has maintained a light tax system to attract consumers and investors. Products such as perfumes, alcoholic beverages, electronics, and clothing are sold at significantly lower prices than in neighboring countries. This low tax policy has turned the country into a shopping destination, even for short stays. In addition, Andorra has developed as a financial center. Although once labeled a tax haven, the country has adopted transparency measures and aligned itself with European regulations. Still, it continues to offer fiscal benefits for businesses and foreign residents. Despite its rugged terrain, Andorra generates part of its electricity through hydroelectric power plants, taking advantage of the elevation drop in its mountain rivers. Renewable energy covers much of its domestic demand. Agriculture is modest, but culturally significant. Tobacco cultivation remains important, and sheep and goat herding sustain small valley communities. Andorra's strategic location between France and Spain also benefits its economy. The country serves as a commercial bridge between the Catalan and French markets and maintains close trade ties with the European Union, despite not being a member. The use of the euro and customs agreements streamline cross-border business. Another growing sector is technology and innovation. The government is investing in digital infrastructure, startup incentives, and a business-friendly regulatory environment to attract tech companies. This effort aims to diversify the economy beyond tourism and retail. Andorra's geography imposed many constraints, but it also inspired a smart economic model: small, efficient, terrain-adapted, and focused on well-defined niches. The country didn't need oil or megacities to thrive. Mountains, snow, and a touch of fiscal creativity were more than enough. Andorra may be small in size, but it is surprisingly diverse in terms of population and culture. With around 80,000 inhabitants, only about one-third are Andorran by birth. The rest are mainly Spanish, especially Catalan, Portuguese, and French, reflecting the country's strategic location and waves of immigration since the 1980s. The official language is Catalan, making Andorra the only country in the world where Catalan is the sole official language. Still, Spanish and French are widely spoken in everyday life, creating a trilingual environment present in schools, commerce, and media. This linguistic blend mirrors the country's geography. Positioned between cultural worlds, Andorra is home to people accustomed to navigating multiple identities. Andorran culture is deeply tied to physical space, especially the mountains. Traditional architecture adapted to steep terrain and harsh weather. Stone houses with sloped slate roofs are common in the valleys, where long winters fostered a strong sense of community and mutual support. Folk festivals continue to follow seasonal rhythms and religious traditions. One of the most emblematic is Sant Jordi's Day, similar to Catalonia's Book and Rose celebration, where people exchange literature and flowers. Other festivities, like the Encamp Carnival or the Fire Festival, recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage, mix pagan and Christian elements and are deeply connected to the mountain way of life. Local folklore includes legends of mystical creatures living in the forests and slope stories passed down through generations via oral tradition. Traditional music features instruments like the Andorran flute and tambourine, while Catalan dances, such as the sardana, are still performed at civic events. In terms of religion, Andorra preserves millennium-old Romanesque churches like Sant Joan de Caselles and Santa Coloma. These historic structures, built from stone and adorned with medieval frescoes, blend harmoniously with the natural landscape. Education in Andorra is trilingual and offered through 3 parallel systems: Spanish, French, and Andorran. Families can choose which model they prefer, reflecting the country's commitment to cultural coexistence and linguistic diversity. Despite this blend, Andorrans maintain a strong local identity rooted in their relationship with nature, communal values, and the preservation of ancient practices. In a globalized world, Andorra proves that it's possible to keep traditions alive, especially when they are anchored in the landscape itself. Despite its small size, Andorra is surprisingly diverse in both geography and urban character. The country is divided into 7 parishes, which serve as administrative and cultural subdivisions: Andorra la Vella, Escalda Sangordani, Encamp, Canillo, La Massana, Ordino, and Sant Julia de Lòria. Each of these regions has unique features tied to altitude, landscape, and the roles they play within the territory. The capital, Andorra la Vella, is the highest capital city in Europe, located at 1,023 meters above sea level. Though small in area, It is vibrant and modern, with an economy based on commerce, banking, and tourism. It houses the national parliament, government offices, and numerous shopping centers. Right next door is Escalda Sangordani, known for its thermal waters, and the famous Caldia Spa, one of Europe's largest wellness centers. Canillo and Encamp are winter tourism hubs. Canillo includes parts of the Gran Valira ski area and charming villages like El Tartar and Soldu, surrounded by towering mountains. Encamp also serves skiers and offers well-preserved natural areas, medieval ruins, and Romanesque churches. La Massana and Ordino, located in the northwest, reveal a quieter and more traditional side of the country. La Massana is popular with mountain bikers and hikers, while Ordino is considered the best-preserved parish in Andorra. Its stone houses, museums, and cultural institutions make it a key center for preserving local identity. Finally, Sant Julia de Loria, the southernmost parish, sits at a lower elevation. Closer to the Spanish border, it has a slightly warmer climate and a stronger agricultural presence, particularly tobacco cultivation. It also hosts the University of Andorra, making it a growing educational hub. Across the territory, visitors will find narrow valleys, glacial lakes, and towering peaks, accessible via well-maintained roads or scenic hiking trails. The Madre Perafita Clara Valley, for example, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and alpine ecosystem with remnants of traditional herding life, dry stone walls, and ancient footpaths. Andorran urban planning has had to adapt to the landscape. Cities expand into valleys, nestled between steep slopes, and are often linked by tunnels or elevated roads. This complex geography has given rise to a country where each region has its own distinct personality, shaped by its environment. Andorra may be tiny on the map, but it holds a rich variety of landscapes, towns, and ways of life that astonish even seasoned travelers. It's a country where every bend in the road reveals a charming village, a dramatic viewpoint, or a hidden story carved in stone. Andorra is much more than just a tiny country in the mountains. It's a nation with a distinct identity, shaped by extreme geography, political neutrality, and an impressive ability to adapt. Its valleys hide medieval stories, and its mountains support a modern, tourism-driven economy. A country that lives from the cold, the snow, and the power of the border. Enjoyed discovering this off-the-radar nation? Keep exploring other surprising countries in our Geographic Curiosities playlist.